Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Crypto Tips. For those of you who try to tune into our recent live stream, we appreciate your patience, but the Wi-Fi just wasn't cutting it for us because we have been experiencing a bit of a storm. I don't know if you can tell anyway.
Yeah.
It's dumping rain right now and wind.
On our live stream, we wanted to talk about Binance. We totally got interrupted by the storm.
Rudely interrupted by nature.
So, with Binance, they're going to have to pay a fine for each one of these countries, all right?
Well, but first let's say what's happening, right?
Okay.
So what's happening is kind of a trickle-down effect. First, back in 2018, the U.S. decided that Binance cannot operate or offer their services to U.S. citizens. And then the U.K., and then Canada, and then, I don't know about Australia, but Singapore, Japan, the Cayman Islands, now Thailand, are all pretty much saying that Binance cannot offer their services to their citizens. And so what does that mean for Binance?
Okay. So there's two things that I want to talk about. Binance, I've been discussing how big Binance has been growing. I've been discussing the power structures that are in the financial world, like with E-Trade and TD Ameritrade. They have a lot of pull. So if you look at the UK, and then Binance not being really being punished for being there pretty much, they are taking a lot of money away from these huge traditional legacy finance firms.
Yeah.
And I knew this was going to happen. Binance is the new guy on the block.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, the new cool guy, and everybody's rushing over to crypto because nobody wants to deal with stocks anymore because they're boring. So, that's kind of, this is pushback, and you need to expect that. So Binance is probably going to have to pay a lot of money, which they have, and they're going to be fine. I think they will be fine, especially like if you look at Thailand, because they just came out and they said, okay, they're not registered here, they're not regulated here. If you look at like their writings, like they said, okay, Binance has to pay a $6,500 fine to $15,000 fine, and then a couple $1,000s a day after that. Binance doesn't care about that, guys. Yeah. They're going to be like, go for it. It's kind of like Uber when they were first starting out, like when I used to Uber in San Diego. Uber had to pay a fine every time that anyone would drop off people at the airport. So, they didn't care about that because they knew that they were making way more money in the long run. And eventually they paid off governments, and that's how they want, because governments always want a piece of the money. They don't care about you, or they just care about themselves. They're parasites. So that's pretty much what's happening.
But here's the thing, is like, Binance is probably going to be fine because they can deal with the regulations. The people who are going to be suffering or missing out are those citizens. The people who, like the US citizens, they can't access the same coins as those who are able to use Binance.com.
Yeah.
So this is also a great example of, a centralized entity that has found a lot of success and attention leveraging things like cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, that disruptive technology. They have to bow down to those regulations in the form of paying fees, registering things, creating special websites that limit certain things specifically to cater to those regulators. And there's this one amazing quote that I read from CZ Binance yesterday. I don't know when he made it, but it came across my attention yesterday. He said that Binance doesn't have a headquarters because Binance is pretty much the same thing as Bitcoin or something like that.
Bitcoin doesn't have a headquarters. All right.
I mean, this is why I always kind of cringe whatever. I know Toby loves Binance or whatever, not loves it, but it's a helpful exchange. It is. I understand that, but I can't help but cringe when, anyway, that's the thing that we deal with, and it's fine. But no, it's just this concept of a centralized entity having to bow down to the regulators. That's why DeFi is so cool. It's why cryptocurrencies don't have to create, oh, thank you, my arm is getting tired.
Yeah.
It's why cryptocurrencies don't have to create a Bitcoin for the US, a Bitcoin for Canada, a Bitcoin for the UK. It's decentralized. It doesn't have to bow down to any kind of regulators. The only kind of thing that governments can impose upon is the regulations on these centralized entities, because CZ Binance exists as the CEO of Binance. His last name isn't Binance, but anyway, it might as well be. He should change his name to Binance. Anyway, that's my rant too.
I'm sure he's got the tattoo of Binance.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably
a lot of people do.
On his butt cheek or something.
Yeah, so with that said, I'm not worried about Binance. I haven't sold any of my Binance.
Yeah.
As our Patreon members know that I have not sold any of my Binance.
Yeah, I just remember something. If you find yourself worried about Binance going out of business, the only reason, 2 reasons you'd worry is, number one, if you're holding Binance coins, or if you're holding coins on the Binance exchange. I was gonna get that mosquito. Hold on.
It's all right.
Basically, you need to check yourself. If you're freaking out if Binance goes out of business, that means your coins are gone, basically. There might be some legal, they might be able to, if you're freaking out about someone else holding custody of your coins and
Probably
them
should
going
be
out
anyways,
of business.
especially if it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, guys, only put on Binance what you're willing to lose and you're okay risking.
Yeah.
Otherwise, put it on a ledger.
You'll never regret putting coins onto a wallet that you control.
Exactly.
Period.
Like, guys, just do it. And it's kind of like, here's one example. It's like USDT. Why would you hold USDT when you could hold USDC when there's so much?
Yeah. It's actually the largest stable coin in the Ethereum ecosystem. So it's not like there's no volume or anything happening with USDC either. So
exactly. So anyways, that's all we wanted to talk about, because we did put that into our live stream title and we never got around to it. So I figure we got to get to it now. Because I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, thanks again for trying to watch us on our live stream. We're gonna try again.
Yeah.
We just picked literally the worst time ever. We are in the middle of a jungle right now, and we're on an island, jungle island, and the storms are crazy here. So internet access is
hit or miss sometimes.
Hit or miss, yeah. But anyways,
it's not a big deal. We appreciate being able to connect with you guys however we can. So anyway.
So stay disobedient. Don't follow the sheep. Follow us instead. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.